Okunko is protagonist of Things Fall Apart, and he faces a dilemma of living an honorable life. He tries to liberate himself from the image of his idol father, but a time comes when he is faced with dilemma that what was right. His efforts to live with his honorable image that is actually destroyed by external forces, that where his son also converted to Christianity and becomes a sympathizer of colonizers. So Okonkwo faces a world where his own world has own world of inspiration and morality that has collapsed, and foreign world or colonial world that seems to him a world of oppression, a world of cruelty, a world of others. So he can neither get inspired from colonial world nor from his own world, uh, which you can say non-sentimental criticism is presented in this novel Things Fall Apart. Another significant Nigerian poet, novelist, and dramatist is Volshonika. He has received Nobel Prize for Literature too. He belongs to Yoruba tribe. I mean, unlike HEB, who belongs to Igbo tribes and presents Igbo traditions, Shonika belongs to Yoruba tribes. He sometimes wrote modern West Africa in a satirical style, but his serious intent and his belief in the evils inherent in exercise of power were evident in his work. He wrote many plays and certain novels. His first play was A Dance of the Forest. In his plays, Western elements are skillfully fused with subject matter and dramatic techniques deeply rooted in Yoruba folklore and religion. He uses symbolism, flashback, and ingenious plotting contribute to a rich dramatic structure. Uh, Shonka's dramas are even appreciated in the West for their quality, that they offer a structure that can give us a parallel to rites and rituals that man has lost, and that can be traced through the works of Shonika. Shonika wrote several plays in a lighter way, mean in a humorous way, making fun of pompous, westernized school teachers. In his play The Lion and the Jewel, he mocks the clever preachers of upstart prayer churches who grow fat on the credulity of their parishioners in the trials of Brother Jero and Jero's Metamorphosis. These are two plays. You can say Jero's Metamorphosis is a sequel of the trials of Brother Jero. That's these plays are about religious hypocrisy, uh, an idea of charisma, that is a Christian belief, and you can say Jero through his rhetoric tries to uh, enchant a spell upon his followers. His Shonika's more serious plays, such as The Strong Breed, Kongi's Harvest, The Road from Zia with Love, and The King Babu, reveals his disregard for African authoritarian leadership and his disillusionment with Nigerian society. He also wrote Madmen and Specialist, Death and the King's Horseman. Death and the King's Horseman is thought is a masterpiece, is great work. The Beautician of Area Boy. So these are title of his dramas, and his work is thought uh, allusive, that refers to particularly Greek mythology and tries to relate it with contemporary realities of Africa, particularly Nigeria. Shonika's novels include The Interpreters, Season of Anomy, and Chronicles from Land of the Happiest People on Earth. These novels drew particular praise for its satirical stance on corruption in Nigeria. Shonika's several volumes of poetry have been published that included Idanre and other poems, and poems from prison, A Shuttle in the Crypt, Mandela's Earth and other poems, and Samarkand and other markets I have known. His work is characterized by a precise command of language and a mastery of lyric, dramatic, and meditative poetic forms. He wrote a good deal of poems from prison while he was jailed in late 1960s from 67 to 69 for speaking out against the war brought out by the attempted succession of Biafra from Nigeria. The man died, that is his prose account of his arrest. His critical work is Myth, Literature, and the African World. That's a collection of essays which examines the role of artists in the light of Yoruba mythology and Yoruba symbolism. Another work that is significant, that's the Burden of Memory, the Muse of Forgiveness. We can say that's about literary consciousness of Volshonika. Beside Volshonika, another novelist is of great worth, that's Ben Okri. He is also Nobel Prize winner. He wrote the novels like The Famished Road, The Infinite Riches, The Dangerous Love. He also wrote a collection of poetry. Ben Okri is admired for writing writing a lyrical prose, and that lyrical prose, you can say that resembles the prose of Virginia Woolf, James Joyce, D.H. Lawrence, and his belief of reviving native myths. He is one of the great novelists of magical realism. These are a few writers which I have just introduced you, believing that at least one, I mean, HEB, that would be part of your master's and BS programs. Other two, three, they have significance. As I have mentioned, they have got Nobel Prize too. There are many other novelists. For example, in Egypt, there is Najib Mahfouz, who is one of the best novelists known for his Cairo trilogy, and there is a dramatist in Egypt, that's Tawfiq al-Hakam. Um, in different parts of Africa, there are many other great writers, but I am not discussing those writers and just confined to those who are part of course or those who have, you can say, extraordinary fame. As I introduced you earlier, post-colonial literature is not only of South Asian and African literature, that is also literature by produced by another region that is called Caribbean region. And in Caribbean region, first Caribbean, a few words about Caribbean. Caribbean actually is a land that was, you can say, once believed history-less region, mean an area which does not have a history. And reason was that that was not a land of the natives, that was the land of those slaves which were brought from Africa, and slaves uh, who were destined there to serve sugar industry or mining. And writers, so there were masters of, you can say, European masters like Spaniards, Italian, English, French, who were living there, and that world created a land of several.
ਤਸਵੀਰਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਇਆ ਸਾਡਾ ਕੁੱਤਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਪਿਆ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸ਼ੁਕਰ ਹੈ ਕਿਤੇ ਬਣਾਈ ਜੇ ਭੈਣ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਮੇਲ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਮਾਂ
Caribbean region is trying to respond to this reality that it's not a history less. The people who came here, they were bought as slaves, and they were brought from different shores of Africa to this world, but they had a history. Their history could not be documented, that could not be conveyed. So they had a problem to express themselves. In present day world, they have tried to express themselves through their dance that is called cyclops, or through their literature, I mean poetry, drama, fictions, sometimes written in their language that is called Creole, or sometimes written in English. Among English Caribbean writers, Derek Walcott is thought the greatest, because Derek Walcott has also been recognized internationally for his literary contribution through his Nobel Prize. He is a poet, playwright. Derek Walcott was born on the island of St. Lucia. That's in in the British West Indies, and he was educated there. He is thought a Caribbean poet following traditions of confessional poetry. I have introduced confessional poetry in American literature introduction, and Robert Loyal was the most important confessional poet. Derek Walcott was also writing in that tradition, where guilt, negative feelings are not concealed. And in case of Derek Walcott, that negative feeling is ambivalence for the masters. यानी जिन्होंने colonial masters हैं उनके लिए जो है वो mixed feelings हैं, उनके खिलाफ नफरत नहीं है. He himself thinks that he loves Odyssey, Homer, and he thinks that it is not his story. It's not, you can say, African consciousness or a Caribbean consciousness. It's a Eurocentric consciousness. But he cannot hide his own, you can say, duality. He has written some such poems like A Far Cry from Africa, Nights in the Garden of Port of Spain, The Glory Trumpeters, and his masterpiece in poetry that's called a type of epic, The Schooner Flight. He also tried to rewrite certain poems responding to, you can say, Western hegemony or English hegemony through the poems like there is a quotation from his poem, A Far Cry from Africa. The violence of beast on beast, violence of beast on beast is read as natural law. But upright man seeks his divinity by inflicting pain. So colonial motive, hegemonic motive that is questioned in these three lines of Far Cry from Africa. He wrote many plays. Probably his best is Dream on Monkey Mountain. That's a surrealist play, and blends, you can say, real and unreal in this play. And he tries to respond to two, you can say, strain in personality of the protagonist. One is his urge to return to Africa. That was under the influence of a movement that is called Pan-Africanism. And one of the, you can say, leading member of a Pan-African movement was a great critic, dramatist, poet, M.A. Cesar. M.A. Cesar is a writer of Caribbean region. He belongs to Haiti, actually. And other strain was to come out of this influence of the white and accept one's own self as black. In Derek Walcott's plays, characters try to liberate themselves from the influence of their colonial masters, as well as a complex relationship of white and black. He feels that even black has a secret love for white in their consciousness. Derek Walcott is the most important writer of Caribbean region. Besides him, there are writers like Jeremy Thewart. He is also a dramatist poet. And there is an V.S. Naipaul. V.S. Naipaul also belongs to Trinidad. He was born there, though later on he went to England, he settled there, and he tried to, you can say, rediscover his roots in India, Indian culture, Indian history, and got popularity for his novels, The House of Mr. Biswas. Another English novelist is Jane Reyes. Jane Reyes belongs to that region of Caribbean, but she is not actually the black lady. She was actually a mulatto, a mixed race, or we can say the white woman who felt isolation or loneliness in the company of um, black people. Her novels, The White Sargasso is thought one of her great work. Good Morning, Good Morning, Afternoon, and Midnight. These are her works. Her novel is more about the plight and loneliness of a woman rather than, you can say, of Caribbean isolation. So Caribbean history of slavery, Caribbean history of exploitation, and Caribbean cultural consciousness that has ambivalent feelings for the white tradition of literature, mean English tradition of literature, that is seen in Derek Walcott's work. So with this, I conclude a whole of post-colonial literature.